On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment.
America, Jerome Powell just released a 12-minute panic video, and let me tell you, this is what guilt looks like. He's claiming he's being intimidated by the Trump administration, but here's what he's really panicking about: a criminal referral for perjury.
It looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
This man sat under oath before Congress and lied about VIP dining rooms and rooftop gardens that are literally in the Fed's own blueprint. He spent $2.5 billion renovating 2 office buildings and called $600 million in overruns, quote unquote, minor changes.
The Department of Justice has subpoenaed the Fed, threatening a criminal indictment.
And now, instead of showing receipts, he made a victim video, because that's what innocent people do, right? What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me show you exactly how this unelected bureaucrat got caught lying about billions in taxpayer money. Let me start with the most uncomfortable moment in Federal Reserve history: Trump catching Powell in a lie on live television. Watch this man squirm and squiggle his way out of this. He gets confronted with actual numbers here.
It looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Look at that dude's face and his body language. This man just got caught and he is scrambling like some eggs. Trump tells him the building renovation is at $3.1 billion. And Powell's response:
I'm not aware of it. I am not aware of that.
You are the Fed chair. You're the overseer of this particular project. And you're not aware that your renovations went from $1.9 billion to $3.1 billion. That is a $1.2 billion overrun. And you just noticed now?
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added our entire capital. Yeah, you just added in a third building.
Now watch Powell try to weasel his way out of this one. He starts claiming Trump is talking about a different building, trying to confuse the issue. But Trump isn't confused. Powell just got caught with his pants down, and you could see it all over his face. This is what happens when somebody who's been lying gets confronted with facts on live television. This was a very uncomfortable moment to watch, by the way. Can't admit the truth because it would expose everything he told Congress as false. So he plays dumb and dumber and hopes nobody checks the receipts. But here's the kicker. This renovation cost $2.5 billion for 2 office buildings. Let me put this in perspective for you guys. The Fed renovation cost more than the Tennessee Titans' new NFL stadium. You can build an entire NFL stadium from scratch for less money than Powell spent renovating 2 office buildings. Now, let me tell you what Powell actually said under oath, because this is where the criminal referral comes from. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna caught him in multiple lies, and she referred him for perjury. Powell testified there were no VIP dining room. That was a lie. The Fed's own architectural plans show VIP dining facilities. He testified that there was no rooftop gardens. That's a lie. The blueprints literally show rooftop terrace gardens. He testified there were no new marble upgrades. That was a lie. The plans show extensive marble work throughout the building. Guys, he even denied there were beehives. Yes, beehives. And guess what? The Fed's own documents show they installed beehives as part of this luxury renovation. This isn't a he said, she said situation. This is Powell's sworn testimony versus Fed's own architectural plans. And the plans prove that Powell lied multiple times under oath to Congress. But it gets worse. Powell also claimed the building, quote unquote, never had a serious renovation before. Another lie. The Fed did a comprehensive renovation from 1999 2009 to 2003 that replaced the roof and all major systems and refurbished the entire interior. So he lied about what's in the current renovation situation. He lied about the building's history. He lied about the cost, all under oath. That, my friends, is not a mistake. Now let's talk about Powell's pants down panic video from Sunday, because this tells you everything you need to know. Innocent people do not make a 12-minute victim video. They show you receipts. They provide evidence. They cooperate.
But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure.
Listen to how he frames this: unprecedented action and ongoing pressure. He's immediately trying to make this about political prosecution instead of addressing the actual allegations. That's what guilty people do. They deflect.
This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings.
Now he's telling you what the investigation is about. This isn't about my testimony or renovations. Really? Really, pants down, Powell? Because the grand jury subpoena specifically relates to your testimony about the renovations. You don't just declare what the investigation is or isn't.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
And there's the deflection. He's trying to make this about interest rates and Fed independence. No, pants down, Powell. This is about whether you lied to Congress about billions in taxpayer money. You're trying to change the subject because you know what the evidence shows. If you didn't lie, show us the receipts. Show us where your testimony matches the Fed's architectural plans. But you can't. Let me break down how insane these costs are, because this is where Powell's lies really matter. He spent $2.5 billion renovating 2 office buildings, not building them from scratch, renovating them. And he called $600 million in overruns, quote unquote, minor charges. $600 million. Minor. Put this in perspective. The entire renovation was supposed to cost $1.9 billion. Now it's at $3.1 billion. That is a 63% cost overrun.
The New York Times is reporting that a criminal investigation has been opened into the chairman over those renovations at the Fed headquarters.
But here's what really exposes all this. How does a Federal Reserve building renovation cost $3 billion when the entire White House West Wing renovation only cost $300 million? Trump and his colleagues funded the White House project, by the way, basically paid for it themselves, but that's a whole different story. The Fed spent 10 times more renovating 2 office buildings than it cost to renovate the White House. Let that sink in. The White House, the most important building in America. And Powell wants you to believe that VIP dining rooms, rooftop gardens, marble upgrades, and beehives are just minor changes that somehow added $600 million to the budget. This is what happens when you have zero accountability, when you're spending other people's money with zero consequences for waste or fraud. $600 million becomes quote unquote minor.
I've lived through enough Trump drama to wait and see what the actual facts are before leaning in too much into any narrative. But Joey, you know that the narrative coming from at least one side here is going to be Trump hates Powell. He's been pressuring Powell for a long time. And now here's the Justice Department swooping in. It's political. What do you think?
The narrative is already set. Trump criticized Powell, so this investigation must be, quote unquote, political. Never mind that pants down Powell lied under oath. Never mind that the Fed's own documents contradict his testimony. Trump doesn't like him, so the investigation must be illegitimate. The media wants you to focus on Trump's criticism instead of asking why Powell lied to Congress. They want you to believe this is about Fed independence instead of accountability for perjury. But let me ask you this. If Powell didn't do anything wrong, why is he making a panic victim video? Why isn't he just showing receipts? Here's a simple question for you guys in the chat. Should the Federal Reserve Chair be held accountable for lying to Congress about how he spent billions in taxpayer money?
If a Fed chair misled Congress on a multi-billion-dollar project, then, accountability is the right thing to do.
If he misled Congress, he needs to be held accountable. I 100% agree with that. This isn't crazy complicated. Pants down, Powell either told the truth under oath or he didn't. The Fed's architectural plans will prove which one it is.
No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy.
Powell himself said nobody is above the law. Great. Then cooperate with the investigation. Show us where your testimony matches the Fed's documents. Explain how $600 million in quote-unquote overruns are minor changes. Explain to everybody how 2 office buildings cost 10 times more than the White House renovations. But instead, he makes a panic video claiming prosecution. He's trying to make this about Fed independence and Trump's pressure on interest rates. That's a distraction to the actual allegations. He allegedly lied to Congress about luxury upgrades funded by taxpayers. The question isn't whether Trump likes Powell or agrees with his interest rate decisions. The question is whether Powell committed perjury, and the Fed's own documents suggest that he did. America, Jerome Pants Down Powell's panic video tells you everything you need to know about his guilt. Innocent people don't make 12-minute victim videos. They show you receipts. This man sat under oath and denied VIP dining rooms, rooftop gardens, marble upgrades, and beehives that are literally in the Fed's own architectural plans. He spent $2.5 billion renovating 2 office buildings. He calls $600 million in overruns minor changes. When Trump confronted him on live television, he squirmed like a little worm. Now he's facing a criminal referral for perjury, and instead of addressing the allegations, he's claiming this is about interest rates. That's what guilty people do. They deflect. The Fed's own documents will prove whether Powell lied. If he told the truth, he has nothing to worry about. But his panic video suggests he knows exactly what those documents will show, that he lied to Congress about billions in taxpayer money to hide luxury upgrades that he knew would be controversial. Nobody is above the law, not even the Fed chair. And if Powell lied under oath, he needs to face the same consequences anyone else would face for perjury. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.